Impact.
Impact. Impact.
Nice chassis.
Yep, we're heading for.
Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Matt here. Today we are in Caledonia, Ontario. It is June 12th, 2022, and we're here for the Northern Rimfire Series Cadex Canadian Classic match. Forecasted pretty high winds. We're already dealing with some here in the morning, and it should pick up to 20-25 k an hour. We'll see how high it actually goes, but it's not going to be a calm day, I can promise you that. In terms of rain, unfortunately it looks like we are going to get hit with some rain probably, and if we're unlucky enough it may also develop into a thunderstorm, so it'll be interesting to see if we can keep dry and if we can survive the match without having to take a break to let the thunder roll past or something like that. The one thing I am going to be trying different today is one of my barricade bags. I'm actually using the heavy fill medium from Armageddon Gear, and the reason why I want to test that is just to try out the heavy sand that it's filled with to see if it gives me any benefits in terms of stability. It's something I've wanted to test it for a while now, but besides that, everything else is the same in terms of the rifle and the scope setup.
Awesome, thanks for everybody coming out today. We got a pretty good course of fire for the day. It's going to be tricky with the wind. The guys who were at the Kester Clinic yesterday will have hopefully it figured out as we went through everything and got it all trued up. So if you have problems with the wind, then come out to the next one. And yeah. But anyways, first we want to thank Cadex for sponsoring the match. They made some pretty awesome awards. And for Trigger Tech for sponsoring the season, for being the title sponsor, and for all the support they give us. A couple things about the match. Obviously shoot the stages as they're intended to be, like in the spirit of them. Don't try to game it. The other thing is that when you are spotting hits, there are some smaller targets out there today, and so you can see the wood kind of on the left from the target number. If it hits the wood, it means it didn't hit the target, so that's not a hit. And also watch for post hits, especially because you got one of the little skinny gophers out there again. So if it goes thunk and it doesn't move around the same, again, that's a post hit. That's not a hit. All right.
Stage 1 was Get Low. This was shot from a trailer and had two targets. The first target was at 120 yards, and the second target was at 156 yards. Shooters would engage the targets with 1 round each from the 3 positions, and then perform a mandatory magazine reload with the magazine placed behind them at the beginning of the stage. Shooters would then engage the targets again in the same sequence for a total of 6 positions and 12 rounds fired.
30 seconds. Impact. Impact. 5 seconds. 9.
Time?
Yep.
Whew.
Time?
28 seconds.
Impact.
3, 2, 1, engage.
Impact. 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 Impact.
6 o'clock, this straight up.
Impact.
Time?
20 seconds. 15.
Impact. Impact.
Nice. You did it with 4 seconds left. You dropped 3 points.
Sounds good.
Good shooting, Matt.
Thanks. Awkward stage.
This light's kind of dead-ish.
You're shooting them.
Okay, so.
All right.
Is that it?
That's all. I'm trying to hold off on my needle.
Rev out?
Yep.
Damn.
Rookie mistake.
Give me a time call.
48 seconds.
I actually obliterated.
Oh yeah?
Impact.
There you go.
I think that everybody that has having surgery today, this is so
Impact.
Are you actually kidding me?
I told my signature.
That's it.
After I let my needle.
Come on.
still cashing in that rain check.
Yeah, maybe not.
Does this help?
If anyone needs sunscreen, I got some.
Oh.
Handing it out.
Good.
Well, there's no powder in the gun, and it's just a bullet, so.
Oh, the bullet's in the barrel?
Bullets in the chamber, yeah.
You got a rod?
Yeah, in my case, I'll go grab it.
Yeah, I figured you were
Oh, yeah, wow.
Well, this is going for sale.
Chili. My dad's chili.
Alright.
That's time.
What action you got on there?
Rough, man. Rough.
Is that a Rimic?
Voodoo.
Voodoo.
You got a cleaning rod on him?
No. I don't.
Stage 2 was titled Tight. This was shot from a barricade with lots of small ports and had one target at 192 yards. Shooters would engage the target with one round from 10 unique positions of their choice.
Impact!
Bad, honestly. Yeah, just make sure no one has an ankle.
Impact! Impact!
Time!
Impact!
This wind is tough, man.
Impact! Impact!
You send it.
Impact! Impact!
You did it with 10 seconds left. I got you for 9 hits.
Nice shoot.
Drop it.
Thank you.
Really
6
good.
minutes.
6.
6 minutes out there.
Stage 4 was the timed tiebreaker stage and was titled Step by Step. There were 2 targets for the stage. The first target was at 125 yards and the far target was at 165 yards. Shooters had to engage the targets far to near with 1 round each from the first 3 steps. When they reached the 4th step, they would then engage the near target with 2 rounds and the far target with 2 rounds.
Impact!
And engage.
Show up and nobody knew what they're talking about. This guy Ferguson.
Wrong target. Yep. It was, yeah.
Impact. Stand by.
Damn it.
Impact. Impact.
3, 2, 1, engage.
Impact. Impact. Impact.
Doesn't help.
Yeah, I think your thing is you're trying to get your impact. And then you push forward and then you're rushing on the bag.
Yeah, it's just, this isn't going to work.
Yeah. I'd say for next one you can use a bigger bag. Impact. Impact.
Needed to be a little bit higher. Just a little bit higher.
Impact.
I just tried to do some bag of all bags.
Impact.
Sling in a backpack, you know?
Impact. Can I get a spotter? Impact. Nice run.
Good job. There you go. Finish it. It was the card that we put down for you.
68.13.
Impact. Impact. Impact.
They want to roll everything's kind of... Stage 5 was Recycle, and this was shot from 5 recycling bins. There were 2 targets, a large and a small diamond at 138 yards. Shooters had to engage the targets from large to small with 1 round each from each of the 5 recycling bins.
Impact.
One more stage.
I got you for 5
It's okay, man. There's always the next stage.
for the next match next year.
Exactly.
I love it.
How do we get to a different stage?
Go back.
Yeah, let's see the screen.
I'm not holding my rifle.
You only ever run it when it's been set up and handed to me.
Impact. Impact.
Load me again.
Impact.
Spotter ready.
Impact.
Timer ready.
You're on time.
Oh, I am the timer.
Push by. Stand by and push by.
Impact.
I'll probably I'm really excited to so I find out but then I mean, you haven't announced it.
Impact.
That's what I'm planning.
I just cleaned this one. It was like Impact.
30 seconds to spare. Good shoot. You're out shoot 4, 8.
Sounds good. Stage 6 was titled Stacked and was shot from 2 spools that were stacked on top of each other. There were 3 targets placed in an array, all at 153 yards. Shooters had to engage the targets large to small from 3 positions on the spool. The 3 positions were from the middle left side, then the top of the stack, and then the middle right side. This gave a total of 9 rounds.
That little guy's a little elusive.
Impact.
Why did he get a curve? You know there's a curve. So he's got
Impact.
Finally got that.
Yeah, and it was right up on the hanger.
Impact! 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 Stand by.
come back time, man.
Engage.
Go left, right off. Target.
Impact.
6-inch diamond and 4-inch.
Impact.
Engage the 6-inch first.
Impact.
It's on the left. Oh.
What's your number?
23, I think, or
Impact.
Yellow one right
yellow one right up front.
Impact. Impact.
It nicked it!
Just.
Nicking it counts.
Making it count.
It's faint, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like
Impact.
first shot when you said impact, I'm like, I didn't see the flash.
Impact. Impact.
Yes, I did
They
it!
just nicked that one as well.
Yeah,
That last one on the opposite side.
finally.
Got you for 9.
I'll take that.
Nick, Aaron, Ian.
Lots of time left, I guess.
Oh yeah. There's like 35 seconds left.
Yeah, one target, like no dialing. Stage 7 was titled Take 5, and this was shot from the Rhino construction barricade. There was a single target for the stage, and it was placed at 235 yards. Shooters had to engage the single target with 2 rounds from each of the 5 positions on the Rhino barricade. The 5 positions were off the top right, off of the left nub, and then each of the ports in the bottom of the barricade.
Impact. Impact.
Another one.
Impact.
3, 2, 1, engage.
Impact! Impact!
Sucks at pausing threads for so long.
Impact! Impact! Impact!
Oh, it'll be here later this afternoon, yes.
Impact! 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 Nice shooting. Drop one.
Yep. Got you for 9. You had 28 seconds remaining.
Oh, jeez. A lot more than I expected.
Oh, nice shooting.
Impact.
Good shoot.
Look at the board, it's like the entire 60-foot wall.
It's like, well, what was the test procedure?
Impact.
Stage 8 was titled Unipig. There were 3 targets for the stage. The first target was the Unipig, which is a unicorn pig silhouette at 100 yards. The second target was placed at 150 yards, and the third target was placed at 200 yards. Shooters had to engage the targets near to far from 4 of the different pipes.
Impact!
Impact. 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 15 seconds. Impact. Impact.
Nice.
Impact. Impact! 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 Time.
Stage 9 was back and forth. This was a 12-round stage and had 3 targets at 100 yards, 160 yards, and 200 yards. Shooters would alternate between the left and right positions on the pipe. The first 2 positions, the shooter would engage the targets near to far, and the last 2 positions, the shooter would engage the targets far to near.
Engage. Impact. 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 Impact.
Impact. Impact. Impact. Impact. Impact. Impact. Impact. Nice.
Good run.
I got you for 12, is that okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Stage 10 was titled Turbine, and there were 5 targets for this stage. The target distances were 95 yards, 145 yards, 195 yards, 250 yards, and 296 yards. Shooter would engage the first 3 targets with 2 rounds each from the left barrel, and then the last 2 targets with 2 rounds each from the right barrel, for a total of 10 rounds.
Quad, engage.
Move far to near, move far to near.
Impact. 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 Impact.
1 minute.
Thank you. Impact.
Oh, you called that. Sorry, yeah. My bad.
We got you. Keep shooting.
Where is it? There it is.
Impact. 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 This one? This one? This one? Impact.
Alright, so I just finished up the match today, the Cadex Canadian Classic. As you can see, the rain has returned. The weather today was pretty on and off for the precipitation. Rained really hard in the morning, stopped a bit for the majority of the match afterwards, but now as some squads are finishing up, it's raining quite hard again. Luckily, we didn't have to deal with a thunderstorm, which we were worried about. Today was pretty rough, a little bit disappointing for sure. There's only one stage that I made a mental mistake on, which is when I held the wrong hold in my reticle. Besides that, it's kind of funny because I actually felt better physically. Today I felt like I could get really nice solid positions, but the wind was really tough today. And it was very strong and gusty. I know I've said that like at every match this year, but it really kicked my butt today. 2 stages I dropped 8 points, which is not good at all. I believe my final score is 74 out of 107, which is lower than I usually aim for. So yeah, definitely some lessons learned from today. The wind again really bit me, and I didn't perform my greatest. The actual course of fire was a lot of fun though. The stage designs were really well done, but unfortunately, just because of the windy conditions, I was dropping a lot of points.
So again, we want to thank Cadex for sponsoring the match today. As you can see, they got some pretty awesome awards they had made up. After we hand it, and also we want to thank Trigger Tech for sponsoring the season. But we'll start with top junior, which is Jessica Tischler.
All right, everybody over there.
Production! Russ Rodriguez! All right, so we have the top 3. So in 3rd place, with 88 points, Matt Murphy. In 2nd place, with 92 points, Julian.
You're looking at the wrong camera.
All right, sorry. And in 1st place with 97 points, only dropping 10 the entire day, Jacob Faber. Insight Arms time stage. We had 6 people. Clean it. In 93 seconds was Mark Roca. In 5th was Doug Gay at 84.76. 4th was Alex at 74.89. 3rd, Matt Murphy at 72.27. 2nd was Jacob Faber at 72.21. And 1st was Thomas with 68.13.
Nice, man.
Try to hold the
This is going to be a lot more of a solemn debrief than last time. No smiles, no celebrations. Just so angry.
Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Matt here. We just finished shooting the Northern Rimfire Series Cadex Canadian Classic match. And I'm here again with Colin. We're gonna just drive about 30 minutes or so to grab some dinner. So we got 30 minutes to make this video happen, approximately. And so we just figured we'd do another quick little debrief of the match today. Unfortunately, this match did not go as great for either of us, so there won't be as many smiles or laughter, but we figured it'd be maybe interesting to some of you to hear what happened today. So Colin, if you want to kind of give a quick breakdown of your day overall first.
Yeah, so like Matt said, not as strong a finish as as the last time we shot together in Mount Bridges. The weather was super challenging today, on and off kind of rain and thunderstorms, and not so much a switchy wind, but a variable wind in terms of magnitude today. So,
which is funny because on the last debrief we did, one of our would you rather questions was, would you rather like switchy winds or like strong gusty winds? And today we had the strong gusty winds, which really kicked our butts harder than those switchy winds.
I can't remember what I answered in the last
I'm pretty sure you said strong gusty winds, which is what we had today.
Well,
so now
just because I like them doesn't mean they're nice to me.
Yeah.
So overall, tough day.
Really tough.
I learned another valuable lesson. You know, we always talk about not switching up gear or changing anything. Like, get your setup and be consistent. I realized at the end of the match today that I had gotten a new phone last week, and my Strelock profiles had not. I didn't carry them over. I didn't transfer them before or take screenshots before. So unfortunately, I was going off of kind of unverified dope, which
just pulled from the ballistics library, which is usually off. Like you almost always have to tweak it to your actual drop data.
Yeah.
And he was just using the ballistics library. So given that, I mean, your elevation was probably significantly off past 150 yards. So, I mean, it's not horrible. You placed out of 65 shooters
42nd.
42nd. Yeah. So, I mean,
a score of 57, I think.
Yeah, 57. Mine. Total match points available was 107.
So yeah, not a stellar day.
Yeah.
But still fun. I mean, it's always good to any day that you can get out and shoot a match is a good day. So still happy that we came out. And how was your match?
My match was definitely worse than last one, so I ended up in 15th with a score of 74. It was rough because of the winds again. So, I mean, everyone was struggling in the winds, and it was a lot more challenging today because the wind, it didn't change directions in terms of left or right, but it would change from like a 2 mile per hour up to like a 12.
Yeah.
So it was really, really gusty, not consistent at all. It was usually left to right for most of the stages, and I was really struggling with the wind calls. And on top of that, the environmentals today didn't make seeing your bullet flight or seeing trace easy at all.
No.
So the corrections were really hard to see, and we had a pretty big downpour in the morning after actually in the first stage we had a big downpour, and after that you couldn't see the dust splash.
Right.
And the crops aren't grown yet, so there's really nothing telling us what the wind is doing out there.
Yeah, there's definitely a no feedback match, which makes it tough to make those corrections. Yeah, I did not too bad in the beginning. I think I dropped like 2 on my first 3 stages. Once we started getting out to distance, I dropped a few there, and then I don't know. I'm not really actually sure how much my ballistic calculator had to do with it. Now that I'm like reflecting back on it, I'm not really sure.
So
I think I was just having an off day.
We probably won't do a stage by stage breakdown in this video just because of the limited time we have.
Why don't we just do like favorite stage, toughest stage.
Exactly. But before we do toughest stage, I will say there were 2 barricades in particular that were quite challenging for a lot of people because of the height you had to shoot off of. So the first one was the trailer, and the second one was the Rhino, right?
Yeah.
So those.
So actually,
those
the
tough.
Rhino, I always curse that Rhino barricade because especially shooting out of the portholes of the Rhino, which is basically why they use that barricade, was to force you through those little portholes. I didn't find it so bad today.
Did you do a crouching position?
I did, yeah. And I scrapped the low prone and or high prone, sorry, and tried crouching, and it worked out not too bad. But the trailer was really tough.
Yeah, which is funny because it's a similar height to those ports.
It is a similar height. I'm not really sure what I tried doing a high prone, which then somehow converted into this, I tried crouching, which then converted into this high prone with like my leg flying out over the other side of the trailer.
So you're doing like an arch.
Yeah, which is like super uncomfortable.
So I usually do a crouching for those height targets, and this match I tried to do a sitting. So my butt's on the ground and I'm like leaned over. I find it still uncomfortable, but pretty steady, I guess. So
it was a lot of movement in like a confined space in that trailer, plus the mag change. Anyway,
so
that was probably my least favorite stage, just because I struggled to get comfortable, struggled to make some impacts, and I timed out. So
some of the targets were small, like. Generally speaking, the targets weren't too bad, but there were a few targets out there that were definitely quite small for the conditions, and the trailer was one of them. That second target on the trailer is pretty small.
Yeah.
And the spool stage had a small target as well. But what was your favorite stage? Let's go with that.
I think it'd probably be a toss-up between the like horizontal or diagonal like culvert stage, or the long range stage. I mean, I always like the long range stages anytime you get a chance to stretch your legs out to.
Well, the long range stage this time around wasn't super far. It was within 300 yards, like 290
296, I think.
And we've shot in a match like past 400 before, so But it was the longest range stage.
Yeah,
that one was.
Yeah,
fun.
that's fair. Yeah, it was good. I liked it. It was challenging because of where in the field we were shooting. The wind was actually like right to left until you got through the arc, and the last 2 targets in the arc ended up being, for when I shot, like centered, kind of just hold straight up. But I heard a few people saying that the wind actually switched like all the way from a left to right. So
really interesting. My favorite stage I actually did really poorly on, but I thought it was really interesting, was the 10 positions off of that fence. And the reason why I thought it was interesting was because the ports were so short that most people couldn't fit a bag through it.
Right.
So if you weren't paying attention to shooters going before you and you tried to use a bag, you quickly realized it probably wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
So it really made you kind of think on the spot. Probably had to ditch a bag and then go hard on hard surface, which is not fun to shoot on, but I think it was kind of neat. Actually, speaking of difficult barricades, so that barricade was one that was pretty short. Also, the stairs was also very short in the space you had to work with. So, because I tried to use my bag, quickly realized it probably wasn't going to work, so I checked it off. And the stairs have like a very aggressive texture to them for grip.
Yeah.
And the bottom of my archer rail is just completely mangled from that stage because I was going in and out of that barricade. So, yeah, but whatever. It's a tool. So what was your least favorite stage? Maybe not in terms of your score, but in terms of like, I guess you don't like shooting. Well, I guess yours is the trailer.
The trailer is definitely my least favorite.
I like the trailer because I like the mag change and the fact that you had to really hustle.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, fair enough.
I guess my least favorite was. I mean, I don't hate stages ever.
Yeah,
but I didn't like the stairs because of the narrowness of the space, and it was scratching up my rifle chassis. So
fair.
I guess that was my least favorite.
Yeah, I used the KevFat, and it worked. It worked well. I was able to get underneath well enough.
So here's an interesting sort of discussion point: is there is a bit of luck to this sport because when you go up to shoot, the wind may be calm, and the wind may be strong and gusty.
Yeah.
But throughout the day, it probably averages out. You know, in terms of all the shooters. Would you rather start the day off poorly or end the day off poorly? Because I was thinking about this, and the last 2 matches I've shot, I've started the day off poorly, and I've ended the day off stronger. I'm starting to think, in terms of my match performance, my mental game, it'd be better to end poorly, you know, and have sort of the confidence going into your first few stages.
Yeah, I definitely think, starting off strong gives you the confidence and kind of gives you a bit of an insurance policy as the day goes on.
Yeah.
Certainly starting off poorly, you run the risk of getting in your head and continuing to shoot poorly.
Yeah, exactly. And like, so the way we shot today wasn't great, but the top shooters were still shooting very well. So that means, obviously, we're struggling with things that other people have, like, you know, practiced or whatever, or a lot better at it. So, like, top shooter today was, oh shoot, I forgot the name. Anyway, he shot a 97, which is like, he only dropped 10 points the entire day in these gusty conditions. Very impressive.
Yeah.
Second place got 92, I want to say.
Yeah.
So these guys are shooting around 90% or high 80s, and I was shooting below 70%. So, yeah, definitely some work to be done. Unfortunately, our range at Stittsville is not good for practicing
training in wind. Yeah, the high berms.
It's
on
almost
both
always
sides.
like tail or headwind.
Yeah.
So tough. It's really tough to have a field that you can practice in like a big open area where we are, and really a lot of our takeaways are from other matches, basically.
Yeah, I think if we want to train in wind, we need to train on the 300. Is where you're going to get the most wind at Stittsville.
Yeah, but it's awkward too because the setup there, you can't really use barricades easily.
Yeah. And shooting at 300 off a bench serves very little purpose.
Yeah, it gets real boring after a while too. That's a good point. We were behind a little shed, or a big shed, and behind a hill. So the wind you were feeling was either swirling or not as great of a magnitude as what was out in the field. And I noticed that because my Kestrel is reading like 6-7 miles per hour, but out there it must have been like a 10 or 12, like way more.
Yeah, a lot of people were holding too little.
Yeah, and my 200-yard target, I was holding 2 mils, which is quite substantial. But on my dope card, I had like 0.8 because it was just completely different. So lots of lessons learned today. Last year, this match was actually high scoring because there was no wind, and I did really well at this match last year. So kind of a bummer. You know, I went into this match maybe a little bit too cocky. because of how I shot it last year and everything. But that's basically it. I don't know if there's anything else to debrief. It was a really tough day.
Yeah, I don't know.
Another thing was today, Adam for the first time randomized the squads. So you didn't choose your squads. He kind of assigned you to whatever squad randomly. All of us from Stittsville were not in the same squad.
Like none of us, we were
Yeah,
all in
none of
different
us were
squads.
with another Stittsville shooter. So it was pretty interesting. I like it because I met other shooters that I know their names, but I couldn't put a face to them. And, just meet new shooters, which is great. But I think it actually did throw off some shooters because you kind of rely on shooters you know.
Yeah, I think we train a lot together, and I think that, certainly benefits us when we compete together.
Yeah.
Plus, it's a long drive to
Yeah.
not really, to see and chat intermittently. I don't know. I agree. It was nice to meet and shoot with some new people that I've not shot with before.
But I feel like it almost makes you, it forces you to be a little bit more self-sufficient. And it's not because guys wouldn't lend you their equipment. Everyone's really friendly.
Yeah.
But it's just because when you're not buddy-buddy with someone, you can't just grab their bag,
Yeah.
So it is different. Like, I definitely felt today I was more alone in terms of my preparation, going through the stage. Like, no one borrowed my tripod today, whereas this guy takes it every other stage usually. So, there's little things like that.
I have my own. I use my own today.
So we'll see if Adam keeps it up. Like, I see the benefits in it. But at the same time, I'm hoping for a little bit of luck where I end up with another
At least one other Stittsville.
Yeah,
It would be nice to shoot with one other.
Yeah.
One other.
Any of them. Doesn't have to be this guy.
But it'd be fun if it was.
Yeah, it'd be fun if it was. So I mean, overall today was a really good learning lesson. Hopefully, I actually implement what I should learn from today.
That's it. I got nothing else.
Yeah, I got nothing else. It was a good match.
I'm hungry.
I'm hungry. I'm starving. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.